facing challenges in the FRT student project, and a few more things. Okay, let me start from the basic. Okay, let me share my presentation. Okay, so basically, when you start a registration from the FRT portal, what and all you need to be on register, you might have an idea, right? So you need to select the project, uh, describe the project title, hmm, and the technologies you going to work on that project, and what are the cloud technologies you're going to utilize, and what are the problem statement, what are the project descriptions. Okay, all those things you're gonna register. Once after the register, you're going to create your project in your local and create your GitHub account and dump your GitHub account, the repository into the GitHub account repository. And after that, you host those repository into the Azure portal and you utilize some other services from the Azure. It could be a database services, API services, functions, Cosmos DB, okay, and many things. Okay, these are the things what at the end of the day what you do, all these activities you've done. So you're going to submit these things into a FRT portal. Once it is done, from the backend, FRT will evaluate those projects you have done and will give the feedback, approved or rejected due to the some not met the expectations. Okay, these are the things, right? So this is a process you following, right? If anyone has any doubt in this process, please ask me the question now, or you are following with me, right? And I will take it as is. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. So all of you can hear me, right?
Yes, Swaroop, there is a question, I think. Suresh, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, Suresh, please
Yes,
go ahead.
Suresh, tell me.
Ma'am, actually, I completed my FRT project with my student mail, but it is rejecting many times, and my Azure credits are completed.
Okay.
Okay. And Suresh, what is the reason of rejection that you're getting from the evaluator?
It's telling that we are not providing screenshots of Azure tools.
Okay.
So then have you included those and sent it to the evaluator?
Yes, ma'am. Up to now, I sent it 3 times.
And you have made the changes and then you have sent, right?
Yes, ma'am. But also,
So,
the same email again coming rejected.
okay. So then, Suresh, do one thing. All your project details along with what you have included post the feedback, just put them all together and send an email to support@futureready.
Ma'am,
Right? And
but the links are not working now, ma'am. My credits are over.
no problem. Whatever you have available, your GitHub project repository URL, a video that you would have submitted, and after the feedback, what you got in, all those details would be there with you. Just put them all together and send it to us on support ID, right? And let us look into the case. Are you there, Suresh?
Hello?
Ha, Suresh, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. I understood what you told.
Correct. So just send it to us. We'll see what is the issue. If there's something still missing, then team would give you a detailed explanation so that you are able to complete that.
And also, I created I registered with another email, ma'am.
Okay.
But it's getting you are not eligible for this Azure. It's coming, ma'am.
You're not eligible for Azure credits. This is what it is saying.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And this error you get when you apply for GitHub Student Developer Pack, or when do you get this error?
When I apply for a GitHub Student Developer Pack.
And that's because, Suresh, you've already claimed GitHub Student Developer Pack, right? So at a time, you can only go ahead and activate your GitHub Student Developer Pack once. Okay. So even if you try with multiple IDs, but the ID that you're submitting is the same ID, right? And that's why some of the students do get blocked as well. Okay. So therefore,
Uh,
Suresh, that's happening. So first send us the details, right? Let us review and then we'll work towards that what can be given you as a resolution.
okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Can't
Uh,
we keep someone's ID to get Azure credit?
Suresh, we can't do that, right? And then don't worry, support is also something which is being taken care by the people who are looking into each of the detail and they're connected with all the right stakeholders. So your problem will be solved.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, okay, now Shivans has written a question that explains the process of how to get student developer pack for benefit of everybody. I'm just going to repeat this for everybody. And Swaroop, I'm sorry, I'm just taking like 2 minutes
No
from the
problem.
time that you have scheduled.
Yep.
So students, once you register and the minute you complete your orientation, right? The orientation is a page where you have to submit your academic as well as your internship details. The minute you submit all those details, there's automatically an email that is being triggered from alerts at futurereadytalent.in, right? Which has a GitHub student developer pack link being given in it, right? I'm again repeating, the minute you register and complete your orientation, soon after that, there's a link that is being triggered to you, correct? Try and look for this email from alerts at futurereadytalent.in. In case if you have not received this email, then write to support saying that you have not received the link to claim your GitHub student developer pack. Right. So that's the first thing, that how you will get access to the link to through which you would apply for student developer pack. Right. Second, once you have that link with you, click on that link. It will take you onto an application page. You have to supply all the details that that page is asking for. Okay, the intent of that page is to understand that who you are, right? Which college you belong to. Are you a student? Are you not a student? So whatever details they're asking for, please go ahead and provide all the details correctly. Correct. The page would also ask you to allow the location, So whatever the page would ask you to do, please go ahead and do that. It's a secure page, so nothing is going to impact you in terms of any data being stolen or something of that sorts, right? So you can stay assured. Provide all the details. The details has to be correct. Read through the entire thing. Once you submit all the details, the team will evaluate your case and they would then issue you a link through which you can go ahead and activate your student developer pack, right? And once your student developer pack is being activated, after that, we sent you a link also along with that, which gives you a step-by-step process of how to activate your credits into Azure. And Ritik, I've read your question. So when we have sent you an email confirming that, hey, this is your GitHub student developer pack, it comes with a link. In fact, when we even sent you a student developer pack link to start your application process, we have given a blog which kind of talks about this entire thing. Still, if you're not able to find anything, see, for everything, you have support at futurereadytalent.in. There might be a delay in responding to it, but definitely you'll get an answer to that thing. Okay. Now, once your Azure credits are activated, you can start working onto your projects, right? Sometimes, like the way Suresh was saying that you're not applicable, you're not eligible, you get this message only in two instances. One is that you've already applied for it and your claim is approved and you already have activated your Azure credit or the GitHub Student Developer Pack once. Okay. So you can't reapply. In a year, you can only apply for GitHub Student Developer Pack only once. Okay. Second is the case, let's say you're not a student. Okay. In that case, then what would happen is that you would not be able to activate your student developer pack because the name itself says that you have to be a student. So tomorrow, let's say, for example, if me and Swaroop try and activate the GitHub student developer pack, it would reject us because we are not students, we are working professionals. Okay, so I hope everybody would have followed these steps. All these details are sent to you on the email that we sent to you. So you have to follow through the emails and you'll find the responses to these questions. Yes, Suresh. Last question from you, and then I'll hand it over to Swaroop and we'll answer the remaining questions after that. Yes, Suresh,
Okay, okay,
unmute
ma'am.
yourself.
Madam, you told that to keep support mail, no, ma'am. My
Yeah.
details.
Yes, yes. Put, put,
My
put all your details in the support ID. And Nuria has already mentioned the support ID in the chat.
okay, but my links are not working, ma'am. Also, can I keep?
Yes, Sarup, that's what I told you, right? Whatever you have available, whether it's working, not working, don't worry about that. Just collate the entire details, send it to us. We are going to go and discuss it with the evaluator to see that what was missing, why this has been rejected, right? And then we'll send you the analysis post that, and also a resolution that what can be done.
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Swaroop, over to you.
Thank you, Gunja. Yes, Tim, we are good to go for the session. Well, as I told you that I just explained you right the process. Okay, we'll go to that process first, and we'll come back to the any questions. Okay. Okay. How the process will start. Okay. So if you see here, as soon as you enter into an FRT portal, you are prompt for selecting the industry of the project which you're going to working on. Okay, either it could be any of the listed industry in the drop down list. You can able to see in the below, right? Fintech, earth, education, health, and lifestyle. So select one of these industry name and work on that industry related project. Okay. The next is project title. So here is the one of the important thing is if you do any work, okay, any kind of task or any projects, okay, or work around with any particular things. So we should have give a proper title for that one, right? So that's what here expectation that this project title should be mapped with your project description and project problem statement, I mean to say. Okay, so that has to be a meaningful title that indicates what about the solution you're going to provide in this project. Okay. The next, the problem statement. So here you can define the what problem statement you are going to achieve through this project. When I say problem statement, it could be if you create a project, okay, any web project or mobile applications or anything that has an idea to overcome a problem, right? Okay, so that statement has to be provided here or any descriptive format. It should not be any complete and exactly as similar to a real world environment in IT professional they used to work, but it could be and your own statement what you're going to do for this problem statement. The next is project description. So this project description should contain like what was the future of this project and what are the technologies you're going to working on it, how that problem statement going to resolve your solutions, okay, and how you going to address those things through your project. All these things you can put it in a short descriptions that could be able to understand. Okay. Next is come to that one of the main criteria here, the Azure technologies, the cloud lab. Okay. So when you started your project, you could have chosen any platform, right? You could have chosen the PHP, .NET, Angular, React, or any client-side technologies, or any server-side technologies. That even could be an API services, application user interfaces, okay, or even could be an any backend jobs that even don't have even UI also. That could be anything. But along with that, those technologies, the people you should need to use at least minimum 2 Azure technology services. Okay, as soon as you go and search here or even click here, automatically it pop-ups the available Azure technologies resources here. You see here, one or the two I have listed over here, Active Directory, okay, some domain services, identity, static web apps, chatbots, okay, language conversion, speech to text, text to speech, Cosmos DBs, already I told database related, okay, and API services, Azure functions, okay, all these many has, we have even more, okay. So you can select 2 Azure technologies over here. The next is we can write Apart from Azure technologies, you might use any other third-party tool. Say, for example, if you're going to uh, create in a project with calculations, okay, calculation-based project. So that calculation does not mean that it will use the only the your own technologies and Azure, but it could have some third-party DLL also you could have included. Third-party DLL in the sense of like third-party resources in the sense of like you may add it Syn function. Syn function is one of the Azure related, means Angular related third-party services. If you include that one, you can make up a very beautiful UIs. Okay, or you can include any other calculations related API integrate into our project. So Google APIs. So these kind of things you can add it up here. Specifically, come to the Azure, you can include Azure API services. Okay, Azure domains, virtual machines, all these things you can mention. Okay, some examples if I want to give in. So as soon as you create some project, you're going to deploy into static web website. Instead of that, what we can do in other technologies, we can go for virtual machine, create a virtual machine, and inside virtual machine, go to your IA server and host it in the IA server. Those links you can provide to us like that way. Virtual machine, one of the infrastructure services for Azure. So you can cover infrastructure service, platform service, and software service, all these three. Okay. So these are the things related to the FRT. Okay, what the mandatory things are as expected from the project related. Right. Now, there's so many means from the previous sessions and so from the emails, support emails we used to get the Azure. Sometimes the people will submit the project, but by the time of evaluating, the subscription has been expired. Okay, or maybe it could that the credits gone to zero, so we couldn't able to evaluate those links that are already went expired. So in that case, what we can do, I will just give an example. So this is our Azure portal. If you went to here, okay, so I'll show you an example how you need to select an any services. Okay, simply if you want to go create a new resource, I will show for static web apps only first. Okay. You can see to create static web apps. Okay, so here why your Azure credit goes very fast into the deduction. Because of that, you need to select the region specifically. What I mean specifically, based on the region, the credit goes to that particular environment. It varies. So I'm living in India. My nearest Azure resources, I can host it in the Asia Pacific. Okay, so in that way, I can save some credits. Okay, otherwise, if I go for the long distance of the Central US or Europe regions, so it may cost more for us. Okay, how it costs more? For every 1 hour or every second, it's going to be charged for us. For say, for example, every 1 hour, it's going to charge $1.5 for West Europe. That the same thing you can select for Asia Pacific related, it can charge $0.50 per hour or $1 per hour. So that way we can limit our credit goes away from us our account. This is only for demo purposes. We have only about 200 credits available for us for student purpose. So that way we
Okay.
can save our money.
Swaroop, sorry. Just one update here, students. What Swaroop is using a different subscription. The subscription that you get gives you a validity to 1 year or $100 credits, whatever expires earlier, right? So don't presume that you'll also get a $200 subscription. For you, it's $100.
Yeah, I'm not a student account which I'm logged in, so that's
Correct.
the
That's
reason
why I
you
just
might
wanted to
see the.
set that
Yeah,
right so that
I'm
we
coming to
stop
that point
getting
later.
questions on the support ticket.
I'm coming to that point later. Okay, so this is the screen. If you are student account, you might see the some more fields extra or somewhere different. But since I am the one of the active user, so I don't see these things here as a student. What I explained here, you can see here the plans, hosting plans dedicated to your bandwidth. Okay, so you can compare your plans and you can take over that one. Okay, it is easy to understand based on your plans you're going to select. You can see here, if you choose the free plan, okay, it will give the 100 GB per subscription, all those things. Okay, this may vary from your subscription to our subscription, but you can relate it, okay, while you selecting. And while you selecting standard, instead of going to standard, go for always the lower bandwidth. Why? Because you see here custom domain, it appear for 2 per app. Otherwise, it will give 5 per app. Means you can host the 5 application in this standard. But we never going to utilize those 5 applications, right? We enough for only the minimum. If you go for 5, then of course it will cost more. As much as less bandwidth if you go, that will available for us, it will give the less cost for us. Hope you understand, right? Okay, so this way you can avoid your cost cutting, and you can make utilize of your credits more with the different resources. So I'm not going to create since I have some other work I'm going to do. So just for information purpose, I have shared these things and come to the resources. And one of you asked me that even though I utilize the two Azure technology services, I'm getting rejected, right? So why you are getting rejected? Because of, say for example, you have utilized static web apps and app services. Okay. In the app services, what you can do? You can create an application services and you can host it and you can utilize in your project. Okay. The same you can do it in a static web app as well. So if you utilize both static web app and app services, there is no differentiate between the two services here. That both the services going to have the similar functionalities, but you never going to implement actual implementation in the sense of like that could affect in your project. Okay, that's the reason you might rejected saying that please provide what exactly you have worked on in the application services and what exactly you have done in a static web apps. Static web apps is nothing but we just host it on application, but we more intended to know what is in app services you have done it. In the app services, you can host it the same as static web apps, but we can even more functionalities we can do. And the more functionalities you can do in the sense of like uh, the way of services you have configured, how you can configure in the sense of like in the based on the regions, and you can create a plans. Okay, you can create some services that should be up load balancing. You can do load balancing in the sense of like in this particular time the application should be up and run, particular time should be down or completely off. Those kind of things, have you done anything, utilize those services, these kind of things we want to know whether it is utilized or not. If you are utilized those things, we can go it and approve that because of you have done some kind of two Azure services. You have work around that one. You simply utilize that app services. It's not going to be come to that level. See in the deployment and networking and the monitoring. So these application insight, this is one of the big topic here when you going to work on the application insights, app services. That's what we are looking for here. If you see the application, what is the pricing details here also you can cost cutting the things while you installing. Okay. So every time when you're going to create the any Azure services, please look into your pricing details and go as much as less cost only for student purpose or go for free one only always. Okay. So yeah, now you can shoot me questions, any doubt from your side.
So, Swaroop, we have one question in the chat from Sakshi Dhamne. Sakshi, if you're on the call, if you'd like to come on mute and ask the question, otherwise I can just read it out. Okay, I'll just read out the question in the meantime. Sakshi is asking that the Q&A maker service is showing that it has been retired. So what other alternatives can she use for this service?
Okay. So for example, if you go here and you search for, you might started for implementing the chatbot application for the question and answers, right? So the similar way, what happens in the Azure, that Q&A has been deprecated in the sense of that has been maintenance has been shut down. So they have provided the more links for us, more in the sense of like they have given an advanced version of that Q&A and answers. If you go and search for Q&A and answers here, Q&A makers, okay, you see here. This question and answers is going to be retired in 31st March 25. The new version of the capability is now available as a part of Azure Cognitive Services for language called question and answering. So this is nothing but you don't need to be earlier. What happens in the QA and answers, you might need to be input your QA and you might need to be use those available data science to be work on that. Okay, that by default it asks some, you're going to give some questions. Based on that questions, you might set some answers. But now in Azure Cognitive Service, what happens? The language itself gives you a very interpretive UI for you. It will set of questions, it will pop up, and based on that, it gives the number of answers. You can select it. That answers is going to be work for the next questions that way. So instead of Q&A, you can go for the Azure Cognitive Services now. And most of the people, what you are going to do, as soon as you implement the chatbot, by default, what happens? The Azure is well capable for giving the default language and default questions for us based on its AI implemented. But I recommend and I suggest you to create your own questions and create your own answers. Okay, how? As soon as you create a question and means Azure Cognitive Services, it asks for provider inputs, the language inputs. You can create your own language or own questions in the Notepad or XML, and you can upload. That questions will be appear, and the similar for that questions you can provide for the answer. These are the answers you might expect for these questions. Those are the things you can implement though. If you do those customization, that will be more great over here. Any questions? Understood?
Okay, I think Sakshi said that she understood. She's not able to unmute herself.
Okay, no problem.
Students, if there are any other questions, I think Thomas, you have a question. Feel free to come on mute if you can and ask your question directly. Hi, Thomas, can you hear us?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Can you speak a little louder?
Am I audible right now, ma'am?
Yeah, Swaroop, can you hear?
Yeah, please go ahead, Thomas.
Go ahead, Thomas, please.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm a 22nd graduate and I already claimed my GitHub student pack in my using my college ID, college email ID. And right now I just signed using my personal Gmail account to FRT session. So whenever I try to study the those cloud, I can say like we have a sandbox like thing in cloud. I'll be learning those modules. So whenever I try to use that sandbox, it directs me to Azure Cloud Portal, but I didn't have access in my personal account. I only have the portal access with my college ID account. So what can I do for it now?
Sorry, Thomas, I didn't get your questions. Can you come back again?
So I'm a 22nd graduate, sir, and
Okay.
I claimed my GitHub student account using my college Gmail ID,
Okay.
college Gmail account.
Mm-hmm.
So later, I just signed in for FRT session with my personal account, a secondary Gmail account.
Okay.
So whenever I try to start learning things in Azure Microsoft Learn portal, we have a section called Code Sandbox.
Okay.
So it, when I clicked on activate code sandbox, it redirects me to Azure portal. But I only have the Azure portal access to my college account, college email account. I don't have an access with my personal account. So
Okay.
what can I do right now, sir?
Basically, I think you need to register with your student account, means college account, Gmail only. Okay, that's how that student program is running. For more information, for your personal Gmail ID, I'm not aware of right now. So you can connect with support team, how we can able to achieve that one.
Yeah, so I do plan for mm, creating a new ID, but whenever there is a chances that the college email account can be revoked at any time because I completed my college, so they can revoke my Gmail access at any time. So that's why I didn't create the account with my college ID.
No.
Thomas, can you write to us at the support desk? So we've pasted the support channel email address. Just write to us on that email address, and then our support team will get back to you about this.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? So all of you knows, right? So how to create an services in Azure. Yeah, and the other things that what we request for the screenshot. Say, for example, the most of the things was rejected due to that you have not provided the complete information of Azure technologies you utilize, right? See, you have various number of services you have, the general, compute, networking, storage accounts, web, mobile, containers, database, analytics, AI and machine learning, Internet of Things, mixed reality integration, identity. So we have these much of services over here, right? So for example, you must somehow you utilize some things like a storage account. Okay, someone used storage accounts and created a file storage, a blob storage, okay, or a table storage, and from the application you're saving some data to the storage account. But we cannot able to evaluate those things in a from the GitHub source. The GitHub source code, the repository doesn't contain any information related to your Azure portal storage account, right? So what we expect, so as soon as you create a storage account, your storage account resource will be listed over here, right? And take a screenshot of this. So I would like to request you to take a screenshot of like this. Okay. So this may help us to evaluate what kind of storage account you have utilized and how you utilize to be evaluate for us. So if you upload this screenshot into the GitHub repository readme MD file, that would be very helpful for us to be evaluate and approve. Otherwise, what happens back and forth that communication happens for rejecting and approving and requesting for more informations of Azure technologies you utilized. So that may going to extend your communication and the portal credits going down. So somewhere you provided the last moment and that now credits are gone and now we cannot able to view the application you have implemented. That was a problem happens. So next time onwards, those who are completed the project and going to upload into FRT, while please upload all the screenshot of the services in the Azure utilized. Does it make sense? Hello. Yep. So yeah, any questions now?
Students, if you have any question, you can either post it on the chat or you can raise your hand and I will get to you.
You don't need to be hesitate or you need to be worried that you can raise your questions. Like it could be anything that even could be in silly questions, but it would be informative for others, right? So you can unmute and you can talk and you can explain your problems you are facing with FRT or the Azure technologies or the project related you are any challenges you have done. Yes,
I think you have a
Suresh.
question, Suresh. Yeah.
Ma'am, can I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, is there any possibility that if my credits are over and my link is not working, so that it is there possibility to complete my project?
So Suresh, like we just mentioned, just send us your details on our support channel and we will look into this matter.
I already sent it, ma'am.
Yeah. So please give our support team some time to get back to you.
Okay.
So we're right now conducting the session. So after the session, they will look into your request.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So we have a question from Thomas Swaroop, if you want to answer. If the $100 credit has gotten expired before completing the project.
Thomas, I would like to say that it never goes expired of those 100 credits. I'm damn sure that I'm giving you 100% guarantee that. So it never goes expired before completing your project. So as soon as you started implementing the Azure credit, so before going to implementing the Azure portal, just look on that some YouTube videos and all those things, and then go to the Azure portal and start creating the services and try to limit your implementation into some hours or days within a days need to complete like a 1 hour, 2, 3, or a week. So as soon as you're done, you just submit the project. If you take long time to complete this project, in the long time in the sense of like you more than 30 days. So if you go for more than 30 days, that limit of that Azure 100 credits that going to expire. By utilizing the services, it never goes to expire, but extending your time limit that going to expire. So I request you to or suggest you to make your implementation as soon as possible in the sense of like limiting your into a number of days, and you can submit your project. Yeah, the another question is how can I deploy the website using Azure Cloud Service and using also database? So yeah, at the so for deploying and using the database services, I can provide some links later part. So you can send out an email for portal or support portal. So particular links I can refer for you for analysis purpose. So that explains how to host the services and how to use the static Azure services and database services and also.
Students, do you have any other questions? Feel free to post it in the chat or raise your hand and you can come unmute and ask your question directly to Swaroop.
Yeah. So what next time what we can do in the next session, I'm going to create a few services, okay, myself, and I try to host it, the application, and utilize to try to utilize the storage account, some other services in the Azure, and I can give the live demo for you people. So to how to utilize these services and how can we provide some inputs to the FRT. So to be make it 100% successful projects. So we can more communicate in the next sessions for the, we have a plan for those things as well.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I have a question. Shall I ask it?
Yes, Narmada, please do it.
Sir, can you please provide demo on Azure load balancers?
Sure. We are planning for those demos for selected services in the upcoming sessions. So we will prioritize based on the important services and easy to learn services. So we'll go one by one. So of course, I will include the load balancers as well.
Okay, sir. Sir, is Azure storage containers being completed? Demo
Sorry.
on Azure. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Demo on Azure loads. Sorry, sir. Azure storage accounts in which we would study about Azure containers, right, sir? So is that demo over?
Is the demo over in the sense of like you're referring with any sessions?
Yes, sir.
Not yet, I guess then.
Okay, sir. Since I joined the meet lately, so I
No,
was.
no. It's
Okay,
not
sir.
done. Built.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, then if you do not have any more questions, we can wind up the session and we can connect for, we look for more in the next session. We'll come up with a live demo or a workaround or workshop kind of things. We can, you also prepare for create your own account and ready with that. In the parallelly, we can implement and we can communicate with the accounts or APIs like that stuff. Is it fine?
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so students, if you have any questions, now is your time to please ask. You can post it in the chat, raise your hand, we'll get to you. But please go ahead and make the most of this session because you won't have this one-on-one with our project mentor. So any questions that you might have about how to create your project or any places where you are stuck and difficult to create your project, now is the best time to ask. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. We have another question from Suresh Kumar Swaroop. Suresh, if you'd like to come on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead. Go
sure.
ahead.
Sir, can we start with another new mail and start the project from the scratch?
What do you mean new mail in this?
By registering by new email.
Suresh, why would you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Why would you want to do that?
Because if it is not happening with this student mail, it is possible with new mail, no, ma'am, from the scratch. Then there will be no issues.
No, so it would happen, Suresh. I've already given you a solution for your thing, right?
Okay.
Just submit the
Okay.
details and you'll be through. See, it's not ID dependent, right? It's dependent on what you have submitted,
Okay.
right? If it's not right, even if you submit it with 10 different IDs, it won't get accepted.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so submitting with multiple IDs is not a solution. Looking into the feedback, what has been given, and ensuring that you have actually incorporated that feedback, that's the key to success. Right? It's not
Okay.
like trial and error and a machine is evaluating the project. There's a team of evaluators who are experts into this are evaluating the project, right? So
Okay.
ensure that you go through the feedback. If you're not able to understand the feedback, write back to the support team. You have GitHub discussion forum. You can go back and say that, hey, I received this feedback. I'm not able to understand this. Can the team help me elaborate this? Right. So just do all that to get the response to your queries, right? Submitting it through multiple IDs is like a trial and error method. And you being developers, we would never want you to do that.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you,
Right.
ma'am.
No
problem. I
problem.
would like to reiterate for all the things, all the peoples. Like, say for example, if someone has rejected by their account, it doesn't mean that they gonna create new one and they gonna submit the project. Does means that approved. Because think I'm the one who evaluating like backend. Think like someone is evaluating. Some human effort is needed, right? Evaluating. It's not automated process or the AI going to work on it. So definitely there is a person going to each and every project going to look manually and evaluate manually. So what the student has been done, what are the technologies they utilize, what are the Azure they utilize, did they provided the valid URL, did they provide the valid demo, okay, and they have exactly utilized the Azure technologies and that each and every URL has been working. Okay, and how the repository has been configured. That repository has a screenshots and a README MD file has been filled with complete informations, and what the project data he has been defined, and what project problem he has going to be resolved, and what is the project description is there. So all this going to be read out manually, and we need to analyze the project, and we're going to approve or reject. That's how the process will work, right? So even though if you following with the multiple emails, that will not going to work, and that's not a best practice. We are here to help you to understand, okay, help you to gain your career with these technologies learnings. Okay, this is the platform for you to learn and to gain the informations, right? Please, if anything was rejected, please try to understand that what the reason is behind, and try to implement that one and get it hand into your means handled informations for those learnings.
Right. And students, just one note for everybody. And I know that sometimes you write to support team is not able to respond back in time, right? But it could be that maybe your email has not reached them or there's some delay at their end. So we do acknowledge all those things. So Ravindra, to your question, please do write back to us that the support team response came a little late, due to which you have missed your project deadline. If it's a genuine, we'll try and look for the all details and we'll give you a project extension, right? So support team always try and respond back to you in the time which that you are able to go ahead and complete everything. But see, our request from you, because even at times we are being looped into few conversations where your email has come, right? Try and be as exhaustive as possible. Give all the details that are required, right? Think yourself as a support team that point in time in resolving this issue. So whatever you think that the support team would need to understand your query, please put all the details, right? We have seen support tickets coming in with just one line, I'm not able to take my test, right? Now, for us to go and see that what could be the issue because of which you were not able to take the test, no error screenshot, no error email, no error message, right? So try and provide as much as details so that we're able to revert to your queries in time and give you the proper answer to that, right? So whenever you are writing to the support team, give all the details. That's one piece of advice. Second, please use your Azure credits as if it's your own money, right? You have to use them very wisely, because these $100 are something credit that is being given to you should sustain for long. Just that if you have the best practices in place, don't leave the services on, things that you're not using, kill them, do all that so that you're able to save your Azure credits and your websites or whatever project you're building in remains active for longer duration. Okay, so Ravindra, to you, in case if you have given all the details, still the team has not reverted, just write back and mention that you have missed your project deadline, and we'll give you an extension over there, right? I saw a hand go up and now I think it's down. Thomas, if you want to come out of the mute and ask your question.
So I think Thomas has just posted his question, that he has two Gmail IDs. One is for the portal and one is with the GitHub student pack.
So, Thomas, for you, when you fill in your orientation details, right? And there you put in your GitHub details, right? So put in the correct GitHub details which you have used to deploy your project, right? That's the thing I would suggest you to do. And I think that's how then the team will be able to know that it's you who have submitted the details, right? So you should not submit a project using somebody's else GitHub ID, because we refer to the GitHub details that you give to us on the orientation page. Okay, so just follow that, Thomas, and I think it would help you. Okay, so Namrata is asking a question, how to create Azure containers. So do you want to answer this, or do you want to cover in the coming demos that you're going to do for the students?
Yeah, so those, if you want to more related Azure related services, how to create a containers and some services, we're going to cover in the coming sessions.
And students, don't worry. In the meanwhile, I'm also posting in one link for you, right? You are going to see more of the details coming to you very soon around this. Please go to this link. A lot of sessions get hosted on a everyday basis. These are the sessions done worldwide. Click on this link, register yourself for those sessions. So whenever we have Swaroop coming in and doing sessions for you, every Thursday you can come and you can meet us. Otherwise, click on this link, go through the sessions, register yourself, right? And take advantages of those sessions. Our intent is to make you successful, that you submit your projects and you are ready whenever there is a job coming to your way, right? So all the best with that. Swaroop, any parting things that you want to mention? Otherwise, then we can go ahead and close the call. Nuria, over to you.
So just a question has come in from Teja. Swaroop, if you can see.
So what is that? That can I make a web app on my tech cafe shop using Azure resources and submit it as my project to be useful? Can you, Teja, can you please speak up what more info about that?
So Teja, if you can come unmute yourself and ask your question, or if you're not in a position to, if you could just write a little bit more detail so Swaroop can answer.
So, Swaroop, maybe if I have understood Teja's question, what Teja is saying is that his dad owns a coffee shop, right? And he's thinking of creating a web app for his dad's coffee shop using Azure resources and then submit it as a project. Is it useful? Because it will be useful for both the purposes. So what I think is he's asking that, can he go ahead and use that? My response is yes, of course. If you're meeting the project guidelines, you can go ahead and do that and just find the project category for yourself. I think it would fit in the lifestyle, but you can decide based on what your app would do. So over to you.
Yeah, if you are intended to do those things, it's very welcome, and it's very nice idea, and it's really helpful for you as well. And as Gunjan said, that please select the right category under the project. You are free to go ahead.
Perfect. And Swaroop, we just had one question from a student who joined a little bit late. They were asking if you can give a short brief about what exactly you have explained in this session. So if you can just do like a high level few pointers as we then wrap up the session for today.
Yeah. So today's high level session is that how to submit a project in the FRT, which I covered. Okay, and how what is a project title should be, problem statement and project description, right? So which I explained, and what are the Azure technologies you should be cover it, and it should be minimum 2 Azure technologies, right? And how the Azure services should be utilized in the Azure portal to select the right plan with the right price. Mean that use your credits wisely, because it's only once the Azure portal going to credit the $100 for you, and those services you are going to utilize for the less credits going to manage. Okay, and from the coming up sessions we can be more interactive on the creating the services in the live session, and the same thing you can apply in your projects.
Perfect. And just a reminder for all the students, we are also recording this session and we will be sharing this recording with all of you as well. So if you want to like listen in, if you joined in late and you want to listen back into what Swaroop has presented today, we will be sharing the links for this as well. Perfect. So if there are any last questions from any student, right now is your time to ask the question. Swaroop is here, so we can wait a little bit for you to think and ask your question. Okay, if there's no question, Swaroop, Gunjan, if there's any final words, actually, we do have a question. Anand369 has a doubt. Anand, if you'd like to come off mute and you can ask Swaroop your question, or if you'd like to post it on the chat, we can take it from there as well.
Ma'am, can we use external theme? Can you get me?
External team. Yeah.
Anand, go ahead.
Can we use external theme?
What do you mean external team? And team or theme?
Teams, team.
You mean to use some external resources to implement the project?
Yes, sir.
I would like to implement by yourself, right? This is for your platform, right?
Yes.
So you have to learn and you have to implement. So you
Okay.
cannot go ahead and in IT professional, I will utilize for some other resource and I implement the project, right? So that's why it's going to not work because we provided this platform for individuals, students to learn before going to implement. That's how the FRT uh, uh, content has been made. The reason behind is you go in the FRT register and you have a predefined content to learn the videos and some kind of question answers. You go on each and video and spend some time. And if you go for FRT project videos, it's more enough to understand even instead of going to some other resources, kind of the Google and YouTube. So in the effort is more concerned about the students and they provided valuable things and valuable contents for the students to learn and improve their career objectives here. So I request you to go by yourself, spend some time. Just 30 minutes is more enough for daily for one video if you spend and come immediately and apply those things in your project and implement log in your Azure portal, implement some services hands-on and work on it, and you know no more you utilizing, just delete those services and log out. Okay, so somehow you can able to learn and you can able to get it. So once you did this hands-on experience, what happens, Anand? So when we go to the interviews, you might able to explain very well by yourself whatever that you have done in your student career, right? That's how you get impressed and you will get immediate action or noticed quickly.
Yes, sir. I had a small doubt.
Yep. Tell.
Some of our friends
Yes,
are
sir.
facing. Sir,
No, tell me, Anand.
some of our friends are facing an issue while claiming their Azure free accounts. It is telling that you are not eligible for Azure free account. Please use pay as you go. Even
Yeah,
after getting the student developer access.
yeah, because of that, because of why they're getting, because they already utilize the free Azure resources accounts and that get expired. That's the reason they that prompting that you're already utilize your free account, so you have to go and pay your resources.
No, sir, no, sir. They are logging. They had just logged into Microsoft account.
Then we have to look on it why it was not done. So maybe the problem with that email ID already registered before, or is the very first time the registration, and what type of account they're selecting. We can look it onto that.
I had texted support team also, sir. They are not replying about this. They are just telling about they are just giving GitHub discussion links.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what to do? Can you please follow?
Let me look on it and I will come back to you. I will check with support team.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We have a question from Vandit. Vandit, if you want to come off mute and ask your question to Swaroop. Hi, Vandit, can you hear us? Vandit, right now you're not very audible. Can you speak a little louder?
Now audible then?
Yes, can
Am I
you?
audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, now I'm perfectly audible, right, ma'am?
Yes, yes, correct. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So ma'am, like I have no question, but I have an answer for the one person is asked for they cannot like register for the like a free credit account. So for that, like Microsoft deprecated that for credit based learning kind of thing for 2-3 days ago. So now if you want to learn free things, simply go on like Microsoft Sandbox, and we can do the hands-on by that thing. So that's the I can say the solution for this, because Microsoft deprecated $100 free credit. So like I am a Azure developer lead. I also like work for Azure developer community. You also cannot able to access the portal via the $100 credit, like a sponsorship voucher. So now we are using Sandbox. So that is the good option for us being a student. You can also use it. Yeah, that's my suggestion. I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandit. We have another question from Thomas. Thomas, I see your hand is up. Do you want to come off mute and ask your question, please?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, Thomas, can you hear us? Go ahead with the question.
Sir, if the project is if I create a project that doesn't comes under the 5 topics we have mentioned, like open innovation project, will my project get approved, sir?
Hello, Thomas. Swaroop, are you there?
Yeah, I didn't get your question, Thomas. Can you please come back?
So if my project doesn't comes under the 5 topics you have mentioned, like earth, healthcare, and education, if it doesn't comes under those 5 categories, like my project is an open innovation topic,
Okay.
and it's a unique way of presenting the project, and will the project get approved, sir?
Yeah, definitely that what we can do. So if we have more innovation idea other than the category which we provided, so before going to implement and get it approved, but through our support team, just give your idea and what you are going to implement. What is your innovation thought on that? Or send a write an complete details of email and get it approved. If it is a really it's needed, maybe the backend team or the business team will take care for adding those categories into the our portal, or they can even suggest better to fit into that available existing categories, right?
Swaroop, I'll also give one response over there. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Uh, it was Vandit, right?
Thomas. Yeah.
So Thomas, select the category as lifestyle, right? And submit your project, right? And after that, as Swaroop has mentioned, write back an email to us saying that you've submitted your project. This is your project title. Since the project that you have made is not aligning to any of the category, and that's why you have put it under the lifestyle category, we'll take the stock of it and then we'll come back to you. Does that answer?
Yeah, ma'am, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question from Narmada. Narmada, if you want to come off mute and ask your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my project submission deadline has been extended, but I'm not able to edit my project synopsis.
Okay, have you reached out to the support team with this issue?
Yes, ma'am. I think some time back, not recently.
Okay, then can
Okay.
you recently send a request to our support desk and we'll ask them to look at your case, please?
And Nure, can I ask like a
Yeah,
few
yeah, go ahead.
questions from Narmada so that I can maybe do this for Narmada? Narmada, which tab you're clicking on to edit your project synopsis? Are
I
you
want,
going in a
yes, ma'am. I want to edit my primary Azure technology.
Understood. But when you are trying to edit, when you say that you're not able to edit your project synopsis, are you going to the project synopsis tab or are you going under project submission tab?
Just a minute, ma'am. Project synopsis, ma'am.
No. So you have to click on Narmada project submission, right? When you click on project submission, you'll see that whatever you submitted under project synopsis, it's available there. Plus, you'll also see a edit button.
But it's not
If you,
visible for me, ma'am.
you're saying edit button is not visible for you. Do you want to have a look, Narmada? So wherever you submit a project synopsis, soon after that, project submission tab also gets activated, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The same
So,
content which is in project synopsis is there in project submission. But
correct.
here it's not. There is no edit button in it.
Okay.
That's my
And are you able to see project submission, like the save and submit button for your project? Are you able to see that?
no, ma'am. At
Even
the
that
ending,
is
I
not coming.
need help finding the project link and demo URL. Click here. There was a link. That's it, ma'am.
No, just see below that. Are you able to see save and submit button for your final project where you see project demo URL, project repository URL?
No, ma'am. I'm not
Okay.
able.
And does it give you some message saying that your date has passed or something of that sort? So your Azure skills are under validation. Are you getting some message over there?
Like it's saying that your project submission date has been extended. That's it, ma'am.
Is being extended, right? And on the
Yes,
top, when you see where your name is being written, what is the current project submission date it is showing you?
it's showing at 31st Jan, but in the project synopsis, sorry, in the project submission, it's saying that project deadline is exceeded.
Ha,
Oh,
so
sorry.
okay, so Namrata, it's saying exceeded and not extended, right? So what you have to do is, if you need an extension, write back to the support team. They'll evaluate your case and they'll get an extension, right?
Yeah.
See,
Sure,
whenever
ma'am.
you're not able to edit your synopsis or submit your project, that means that your project is either under evaluation or the date has expired.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't have to report saying that you're not able to edit your synopsis. You have to say that your project deadline has passed. You're looking for resubmit, like for submitting your project, but you need a little time, and they'll evaluate your case and basis what you have done in past, they'll give you extension.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I think with this we can close the session then. If there are no more questions that are there from the people who are logged in. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, everyone. Noura, over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Swaroop, as well. All students, we will be sending you a recording of this session. We also have another FRT Lighthouse session tomorrow. We have special guests coming in to talk about their cloud certification journey. So please do join us for the link. The session links have been emailed to you already. So thank you again. Thank you, Swaroop, and thank you, students, for attending.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.